And for all you young bucks out there who think that you're going to make a certain amount of money and then your life is going to get easy with the woman you're with, that is the biggest fucking pipe dream you're ever going to chase.
The hamster wheel of impressing her, and these are two pretty dang high status men, some of the funniest men, probably the two funniest men that will ever be in any room unless they're in another room full of comics. So they have all these things always going for them. Think about that. That's always going to be constant social status. So these are going to be guys that have really good high status. It's not like it just gets all of a sudden super easy when you have this high status. These guys are going to explain the hamster wheel of impressing her.
What was the first time that have you ever had a moment where you got a paycheck where you kind of looked at her like, can you believe that?
Oh yeah. But you know the deal, dude. They can be like, they gotta play it. They can't act overly impressed. Their whole fucking thing, dude.
Oh! Let me tell you a story real quick, Bill.
Oh, we're getting into it this week. We're getting into it.
I did a gig in Aspen. It was for a corporate. I'd never really done a corporate, and they gave me a check. It was $25,000 to do the gig. I was fucking through the roof. I was like, this is it. This is the money I've heard about. Like, I was so blown away. And I came home and I dropped it on the table in front of her. And I was like, what do you think of that? And she goes, well, you got to remember, we only keep half of it. And I went, hold on. Like, that's not, I just came home with the fish. You don't go, well, we do have to cut it and clean it. And
that'll only feed us for 3 days.
Yeah, I was so defeated and angry about that I was like, hold on. Like, how big's it got to be? What?
No, do you know what you can't?
Okay, so Bill Burr is about to say something that I think is pretty dang genius in this situation, but just again to really clarify what happened is this is because he kind of talked about when he first got his first big one, $25,000. This is like, he got a check for that. He's all excited. He brings it home, puts it on the table, and he's like standing there like just pure confidence, like, look at this, how proud he is. Like, oh yeah. And he said her first reaction was, we only get to keep half of that. It's like, whoa, don't get too excited. He's like, this is more money than we've seen. And he was all excited, bringing it home, all that. And it's like, just talk about deflating the ego. I feel like if he brings that home, she should be getting down right there on her knees and unzipping his pants and really rewarding this guy. But maybe that's a different strategy than these women have, I guess. And don't worry, guys, I'm not me personally, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, listen to what Bill Burr is about to say.
Emotion, the move there, if you give a fuck, if you want to waste your adult life trying to fix something that's unfixable, the move there is to nod, pick up the check, or leave it with her. Even better, play the martyr.
Yeah.
And just say, you know what, I'm going to go for a walk. And you go for a walk and you let him think about it. Now, the best that'll get you is a clarified apology when you come back.
Okay. The best that'll get you is a clarified apology when you come back. But I want to just unpack that a little bit of what he said, because I really believe that was such wisdom, and we can take that whether you commit to a woman or not. And his whole thing was, hey, if that happens, the best move you can do, right? You bring that home. Just think about that. You get a check for $25,000. You put it on the table. Your wife or significant other looks at it and is like, well, we only get half, right? Not excited, not grateful for what you just did. He's saying, you can't get emotional, can't get all upset, cause a ruckus, right? That would be losing your frame. So he's, in a red pill lens. He's saying the best thing you can do is you just leave that check in front of her and you just go, I'm going to go for a walk. And you just walk out and let her think about it. And that, to me, honestly, in that situation, I think that is probably the best way that you could handle it. Because again, that's my whole philosophy on things is like, you know, if a girl ever doesn't play back on something you want, or she's not, or she does something you don't like, I always am like, guys, don't get all emotional. Don't yell at her. Don't scold her and all that stuff. Literally just don't text her. Ignore her. Ignore the behavior you don't want to see, because the more you react to something, again, when you react, that's a win for women. It's emotions. So if you react, that's how they know they can get an emotional jolt. So all that does is it trains her to, when she's feeling bored or her life needs a little drama, she knows how to get you to react. And that's not something you want to train in somebody that you're going to be living with, or your wife and all that stuff. So again, I think that was genius. And you can take that with you, in all aspects, even if you don't deal with women and you're just like, with another guy or a business partner or something, and, he tries to pull something on you. It's like, show him with your actions. They just politely walking away like, all right, well, I think we're still going on the same little clip here, but I just thought Bill Burr, that needed to be pointed out, because there's some really good little gems in here.
You cannot on any level expect the next time you show up, you could have one for 30,000 that she's going to be like, wow, that's amazing. And this is what I learned is, it's not because they don't love you. It's because they do love you. And if you start walking around with this big dick fucking I'm making 25 grand energy, you're going to start attracting whores. So what she has to do, out of love for you and her family, is she has to keep your ego where she needs you to be and where she can handle you being, so she can be comfortable and you're going to be comfortable, and there won't be any fights, dude. It's a whole... Making money, dude, when you weren't making money becomes the whole game within the fucking game. And for all you young bucks out there who think that you're going to make a certain amount of money and then your life is going to get easy with the woman you're with, that is the biggest fucking pipe dream you're ever going to chase. Because they're going to take it off the table. Don't throw it in my face. And whatever just happened is who the fuck you are and what you have to answer to. You could literally save a busload of kids from a burning bus. You got the mesh gloves because you burned your hands pulling the last two out. And you're a fucking hero. All right? God help you if you leave the seat up that night.
Okay, so, and I'm watching your guys' comments as I'm watching this and all that, and so you guys also understand, Bill Burr is, for all we know, he's trying as best as he can to red pill people without getting divorced right now. Because like I said, right, he has a wife, a bunch of people are listening to this, so he can't just sit here and talk like MGTOW language. So yes, he throws in like, well, she has to do it because she loves you. But just take it for what it is. The advice he's giving you is absolutely, what is he basically saying there is that, okay, she'll never be happy in a sense, right? You put a $25,000 check in front of her and she's like, well, we only get half, right? That's her hypergamy. Remember, her hypergamy, always searching for better, or she has a man. Now she's always going to search for that man to provide her with a better life. So she keeps lighting that fire in a sense, right? That's her hypergamy, that kind of nagging sense. And so he's just telling you, hey, if you ever make money, guys, don't think that your problems are over with women, because, right, she's used to that. After you bring home that first $25,000 check, she's now used to that. Now if you bring home an $18,000 check, do you think she's going to be happy at all? So that's when he even mentioned there, it's like that's a whole game in itself, is when you're making money, is figuring out how to basically play that game when you also involve women in there as well. So, and then again right there, right? She's also saying that she has to check your ego. She has to take your ego down a peg, because if you walked around all confident, all like, oh, heck yeah, look at that, $25,000, I'm a big shot. He's like, well, she knows that when you walk around with that cocky, confident attitude, there's going to be women that are going to sniff up on that when you're on the road. And then they're going to try to snatch you up. So what's her survival defense mechanism? Put this guy down. It goes back to the thing we started with here about they love to root against you. Basically, like in a sense, right? She wants him to do well because he's going to bring back more to provide. But she's checking his ego as much as she can to keep him on the hamster wheel, to keep him moving, keep him, spinning.
I used to have a joke about I would love to date a young woman, not to have sex with her or not for the relationship, just to impress her, because it's so hard to impress my wife. Like, I would love for a girl to be like, wait, we're going to Cleveland this weekend? Oh my God. First class tickets? This is amazing. Oh my God.
You don't have to pay for drinks at the bar?
Oh, this is so cool. Oh, they can bring us chicken fingers? Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Okay, I really like that part too. And you guys catch that? He goes, I used to do a joke where I just want to date a younger woman, not for anything physical or whatever, not to sleep with her, just so that she'll be impressed by things like, hey, we're going to Cleveland and we get to sit first class and we get free drinks at the bar. And he's like, yeah, a younger woman would appreciate that. And he admitted there, he's like, it's so hard to impress my wife. Right, guys? That is the thing. It's like that. This is like the whole idea of when you give her an inch, she'll take a mile. It's, again, when you really truly get to that point where you like understand hypergamy and how it works always, then you really just think about that. The more she gets used to, then she's always going to push for more. So it's like, and I think this is kind of what Bill Burr was talking about, is it's a game in itself when you're making money of like, how do you present that to her so that, she's, I guess, a little bit impressed. Is because think about that, right? With our hypergamy, it's like, okay, boom, once she gets first class seats and she expects that, now it's like, oh, we got first class seats, but oh, we have to go to Cleveland. Why can't we go to Paris? So once she hits that, expectation there, then she wants more. This is why if guys go out on a first date, it's like, again, I say I do, and I've been like coined this thing, the $10 bill date. And that is where I spend $10 bills on the first date. And I typically go on one date with a girl. But the whole idea, think about that, is that some guys go, oh, I'm going to impress this girl. I'm going to take her out on this first date and I'm going to impress her. I'm going to take her to the nicest place in town so she sees that I have this status. It's like, why would you do that? When you understand hypergamy, you know that is committing social suicide with her, because that's what you started with. Now what? Do you think Chad and Tyrone are ever starting with that? No, she's happy when Chad and Tyrone text her first one time out of 100. That's what she gets excited about versus the guy that takes her to the nicest restaurant. Then it's like when that guy does anything, she's not impressed. That guy now has to fly her in a private jet. You see, when you set the bar a certain thing with women, it's like you give her an inch, she's going to try to take a mile. It's always going to be constantly making you work. So just note that, guys. When you come on strong, that's where you're setting your baseline level at, and she's only gonna expect more and more from there. Don't forget, subscribe, like, comment, share the video, but definitely subscribe.